Right. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Curtain Call Conversations. You will recognise my guest, I am sure. Strictly Come Dancing champion 2016, of course, Joanne Clifton. Currently playing Princess Fiona in Shrek, the musical tour. Welcome, Joanne. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. I'm wearing my green because, Shrek, Princess Fiona. But I've just been told as well that I've still got some green makeup from last night's show in my ears. I do wash my ears, but somehow it gets in all the crevices.
So you're obviously having a very fun time as Fiona. How's the tour going so far?
Honestly, brilliant. I think this is like the 15th week in or something like that. And I keep saying it's my favourite role yet, if I'm honest. It's just such a fun show that, even though we're going on till April, and when you say like to people and they're like, oh, how long's the tour? And you go, April, they go, oh gosh, isn't that going to be a bit, ooh. I'm like, no, because it's so fun. And we finish on I'm a Believer and all the audience are up on their feet. So you just come out of the theatre just buzzing. Like I can't get to sleep till 1, 2 in the morning because of all the adrenaline and excitement.
Yeah. Well, that's excellent. I mean, it just goes to show what a brilliant show it is. I haven't yet seen it out on the tour, but I will definitely be, because it is one of my favourite musicals. I absolutely love it. So what's the best bit about playing Princess Fiona? Do you prefer when she turns into the green Fiona?
Well, I only kind of go full on green right at the end.
Right, okay.
And actually, that's the more sincere bit, I would say. When I'm human Fiona, especially beginning of Act 2, both the opening number and then the number afterwards, I I'm bringing myself a little bit to that role. I really have so much fun because we've got Morning Person where I'm dancing with rats, so obviously big dance number and singing number, and that's great. But then that leads into I Got You Beat, and that's where Princess Fiona and Shrek have like a fart off and a burp off, and we just and I just find it so much fun. There's so many journey that she goes on,
Yeah, I mean, which other show could you like openly fart and burp on? I mean, it's brilliant.
Honestly, I got an applause once for my fart. I got an applause, and I was just like, this is never going to happen again. So I curtsied. I took a curtsy. I was like, yes, applaud me for farting. Thank you.
Absolutely. I mean, are these, are these genuine? This is a genuine question. Are you actually burping? I'm not going to ask you about farting because that's disgusting. But
no, we're not actually burping. I don't think I can burp on purpose. I'm not going to show you, but I don't think I'd risk that not coming out every night.
Yeah, no, I love the way this conversation has gone. But yes, I'm sure the kids would absolutely love it. I mean, it's so wonderful.
And adults as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I don't want to admit it. Trumps and burps are funny, and they all come out laughing at that bit.
You're quite right. Toilet humour. No matter how old you are, it's just funny generally. So the cast that you've got working with you are incredible. I mean, what fun do you have on stage? I mean, it must be brilliant.
Oh, it's just fantastic. I mean, Anthony Lawrence, who plays Shrek, and Brandon Lee Sears, who plays Donkey, and then we've got James Gillan, who plays Farquhar. I met the Shrek and Donkey back in February, actually, because we danced on, we performed on the big night of the musicals on the BBC. So I met them way back then, and we formed this little trio right back then and stayed friends, and we've got a WhatsApp group and everything. So going into rehearsals and everything, we already knew each other. And then I'd already met James as well at some events, and it's just very, very funny. I'm on stage most of the time with Anthony as Shrek and Fiona, with Brandon with Donkey. Sometimes, spoiler, but I have a body double. So my scenes, yes, I'm acting with him, but I'm actually off stage. So it's a bit of a spoiler there.
Well, that's all the magic of theatre, of course.
Yeah.
And of course, you're no stranger to being in big shows. I mean, you not recently, I'm not sure how long ago it was now, but Morticia Addams in The Addams Family, which is an incredible role, as well as Janet in the Rocky Horror Show. Now, I mean, I've seen the Rocky Horror Show a few times, and the audience participation is on a next level. How do you deal with that? I mean, I know it's part of the job and it's coming, but I mean, how do you feel about it?
I mean, in that kind of show, they've kind of got their own script. Like
Yeah.
everybody knows which bit to shout out. And then you get the odd one or two that will come out and they're really, really rude. And
Yeah.
but that's not what makes me laugh.
Mm.
The things that make me laugh are the random, silly things.
Yeah.
So, for example, there's a song at the end called Superheroes when, you know, the Frankenfurter and the whole castle have been being back up by the aliens and everybody's been killed and all this. Spoiler again. And then there's me and Brad, and there's all smoke around, and it's quite like a serious song. And Brad's first line is, "I've done a lot." And like it starts with piano smoking, and it's, "I've done a lot." Well, just before he sang that line on one show, and I'm there like being all sad and all this, somebody shouts out from the audience, "What have you done, Brad?" And he goes, "I've done a lot." Well, I was gone. I was gone. I could not sing. I could do anything. So it's those little silly ones that got me, rather than the rude ones.
Oh yeah, I mean it can be something else, that show, but it's so wonderful. So I mean, obviously, you know, we all know you from Strictly Come Dancing. What a show that is. I mean, you go back doing the It Takes Two, don't you? I mean, how you know, that must be really fun to go back and I don't know whether you missed the show to be a performer and to go through that whole process month on month, but it must be nice just to pop in and do your bit and see
Yeah.
how everybody's getting on. Do you enjoy that?
Yeah, I've got my own segment now, and It
Yeah.
Takes Two, or Clifton's choreography corner. And so kind of like now for the rest of the series, well, I think there's 4 that I'm not doing because of Shrek, and my
Yeah.
brother's going to step in.
Oh.
But on the Mondays I'm going to go and do that, and we record the live and then the pre-record for Tuesday. And it's really nice. It's actually really weird because it must have been what, 7, 8 years now that I've been on it. 7, I think 7 years ago I was on it on the main show as a dancer, and now here I am as kind of a 5th judge because I'm criticizing. You know, and Fleur East asks me the question, what did the judges mean by that, and what did you think, and stuff like that. So I'm kind of criticizing these, but I quite like it because I know how it is from the other side for the pros.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm not just going to say, "Oh, they did this wrong and that wrong," you know, because I know that the pros will have prioritized in the 4 days that they've got on certain things. So I like it because I understand it both sides, both judge and professional.
Well, I mean, you know, you're one of the best people to criticise because you've been there, you've done it, you've won it. So, I mean, what an experience! Yeah, absolutely, what an experience. I mean, you know, I think everybody's a fan of Strictly, whether they admit it or not. But I love it. So, like performing for you. So, obviously, you danced from a really young age, alongside your brother as well. When did you sort of go into sort of theatre work like that you're doing now?
Well, as a kid, I did have singing and acting lessons, and I did exams in them and little festivals and stuff. And I was in the Grimsby Operatic Society, and we did shows there. So I've always loved it anyway. We both have. And when we would go to like competitions or travel to go to have lessons, you know, down in London from Grimsby or whatever, my dad would always play cassette tapes. That's how old we are. Of musicals, you know. So we had Cats on, we had Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat, and we knew all the words. And then there was things like Marty Webb's cassette tape with all the musical stuff, Michael Crawford, all of it. So we loved it. And but then it got to a point where I had to kind of choose, just because Kevin was dancing as well, I had to kind of choose which path to go down, whether to continue with my dancing or go to a musical theatre school. And my mum and dad said, you know, we'll support you whichever you choose, but, you know, it has to be one. So I chose the dancing. I moved to Italy at 16, ended up staying there for 14 years, came back to do Strictly. And when I came back to England to do Strictly, that was when I started up with my singing and acting lessons again. And I sat down with my agent and I was like, this is ultimately now what I want to do. Because I had been diagnosed with arthritis in my knees as well. So I was like, you know, I'm not going to be, I can't just rely on dancing anyway. And I love musicals. So it's been a childhood dream of mine. So in the, I started my lessons, as I said. I started doing some fringe shows and auditioning and stuff. And then out of Strictly, of course, then we did that in 2016. When I won it, I was like, oh, do you know what? Maybe now's the perfect time to go and do it. So straight after that, I did Thoroughly Modern Millie. That was my first big UK tour. And never looked back.
Yeah, I mean, it's wonderful. I mean, you want to end on a high, of course, on a show like that, and you absolutely did
Yeah.
do that. So going back to Shrek the musical, what can people expect from the show if they don't know anything about it? Perhaps they've never seen the film, which I find hard to believe. But if you were selling the Shrek the musical, why should people come and see it?
I mean, if they have seen the film, it is the story that you know and love, the characters that you know and love, but just with some added original songs in there as well.
Yeah,
But it is your fairy tale, but it's a fairy tale that's a little bit different. You know, there's a love story in there, there's friendships, there's actually quite important messages, even though people think it's just for kids.
yeah,
It's not. You know, messages about being who you want to be, to
yeah,
stop trying to live up to the expectations of what other people think you should be,
yeah,
and unexpected friendships. But it's a laugh a minute. There
yeah.
are jokes for kids. There are jokes for adults. There's farting. There's burping for all ages.
Yeah.
And then of course we finish with "I'm a Believer," so everybody just goes out the theatre dancing and singing "I'm a Believer."
Yeah, I mean, it's just a feel-good show, I think, from start to
Yeah.
finish. I have seen a couple of touring productions, and I saw it in the West End as well. Um,
Ah,
yeah, actually with Nigel Harman as Lord Farquhar, who's currently
oh,
in
I
Street,
know.
isn't he? So
I
that was
know.
exciting, I know. But I can't wait to come and see it out on the tour, I do have to say. So if you weren't playing Fiona, what other character do you think you'd love to play?
Oh, do you know what? I've only ever once played a baddie in a
Okay,
panto. I was the evil queen in Snow White, and I loved it. So I
yeah.
think I'd probably like to be Lord Farquaad, if I'm
Yeah.
honest. Have a
I
go at
love
being the
that.
baddie.
I just love it. I mean, it's quite hard to hate Lord Farquhar though,
I
because he's so
know, and
brilliant.
James who plays it is fantastic. He brings a whole different angle to it as well, which I think is just
Yeah,
brilliant.
yeah, I've heard that. So I mean, yeah, as I say, I can't wait to come and see the show. So you're touring all across the country. What is touring like for you? Do you love it or hate it?
I mean, I've done it now since 2017,
All right,
like
so you're a
always
pro.
touring, so I'm very, very used to it.
Yep.
I've done all the sightseeing, so I don't need to do that. But it's nice to go back to places that I've been, you know, multiple times. And then we organise escape rooms, or I've got my Lego club, or I've got jigsaw puzzles to do. So yeah, it's
Yeah,
just fun. It's just
yeah,
nice. And I think touring, you become closer with the cast than
yeah,
say if we were set down in one place. Because if we were set down in one place, we'd probably get to theatre, do our job, and then we'd probably just head back home, all
yeah,
of us.
that's true.
But touring, you know, there's very much a social aspect to it, and we all become this family, which is really, really nice.
Yeah, that is lovely. So you're at the new Wimbledon Theatre as we speak. You're there till Saturday. Where are you off to next?
Oh, where are we off to next? Well, there was Dartford, but that because of the concrete thing has been cancelled. I
Oh
don't know where that
yeah.
moved.
Oh, that's
Then we've got Northampton with Leicester Curves coming up.
lovely.
Bradford, that's where my 40th birthday is,
Oh
on opening
wow.
night. Bradford, yeah. Oh,
All
loads of
over the
places. We've
place.
got 3 weeks over Christmas in Blackpool.
Yeah, I
So
mean, I'm dead excited to see it. I think, well, I'm based sort of Birmingham way, so I shall be coming to see it in my hometown, hopefully, and I can't wait. It's such a fabulous show. So if people would like tickets, they can check out Shrek the Musical's website. I know you've got to get off to warm up, so I shall let you go. It's been a joy to talk to you. Have a great
thank you
night.
so much for having me.
You're
Thank
very
you.
welcome.